Hi everyone, my name's Chris and welcome back to Scarecraft. For today's episode, I wanted to try something a little bit different, something decorative, gothic, and just a bit dramatic. I really enjoy giving random items a spooky makeover, and this time I found the perfect victim. And before you ask, no, it's not the cat. I recently went to a car boot sale and I came across this little porcelain statue of a dancing lady, and I instantly knew she would fit perfectly into my planned build. By the end of this, she becomes the centerpiece of a Gothic vampire inspired diorama, aged bronze, full of verdigris and dripping with atmosphere. I love telling tiny stories through these dioramas, and in this one, we've got crumbling ruins, maybe a church, maybe a castle, an open coffin on the ground, and beside it, our mysterious dancer. There's a mallet and stakes scattered nearby. Someone clearly had a plan for the coffin's vampiric occupant, but judging by the fact that she's out here dancing, they were just a bit too late. She's celebrating, dancing with glee for her first taste of blood to come. As always, I like making things that you can easily recreate too. This build is surprisingly simple if you've got the right materials, so here's what you'll need if you want to give it a go. First up, I gave the statue a well-deserved clean and sprayed it black for the undercoat. Then I gathered the scenery pieces for the diorama. I used a cake board as the base, but honestly, anything flat and sturdy will do. A biscuit tin lid, a bit of hardboard, even a log slice. Just make sure it can hold the weight of your materials. I had some textured wallpaper left over from an earlier job that looked a bit like paving stones, so I used that to cover most of the base. Now, if you don't have any, you can cut little squares of card to make the tiles. And a quick tip, if you use an egg box or cardboard from an egg box, that has a great texture for fake stone. For the pillars, I used cardboard tubes and corrugated paper. If you don't have corrugated paper, like me, you can peel apart corrugated cardboard to get that ridged texture. Cut it to size, glue it around the tubes, and you've got instant Gothic columns. The coffin was simple. I sketched a coffin shape, traced it onto cardboard, and cut it out, then glued it together with hot glue. I wrapped the edges in masking tape, then used wooden lollipop sticks to create a wood grain texture on the lid. A couple of miniature charms finished it off nicely. I also added chunks of polystyrene foam to look like bricks and rubble, plus some mini wooden stakes and a mallet, and a bit of moss for extra age and atmosphere. And once everything was arranged and how I liked it, I glued it all down and painted the whole thing black. I also mixed some sand with PVA glue and piled that against some of the features to create dusty debris around the pillars and bricks. And at this stage, just check everything's okay and you're happy with the arrangement before moving on to the next stage of painting. And now for the fun part, the bronze verdigris effect. Now, there are some specialist paints you can use for this, which are really good, but not everyone has them, so we're going to use some basic acrylic colours to achieve the same effect. I started by watering down some dark turquoise and sponging it over the diorama using a stippling motion and going over the areas I wanted deeper colours several times to get some tonal variation. The more you water the paint down, the more the original black will show through, so you can create some great tones using this method. Then I went with a mixture of turquoise and white to give a lighter aged patina. This I applied with makeup brush, and for the final highlights, I used a lighter version of the same colours with a bit of white mixed in. At any point in this process, I always have a tissue handy. If the colours need knocking back, you can quickly wipe them away if needed. I then added some additional highlights with some extra white added into the mix and hit the highest raised areas. Finally, I dry brushed everything with a bronze metallic paint, focusing on the raised textures and edges where the verdigris would naturally wear away. This last step really brings the whole statue to life and makes it look like solid ancient metal. And that's the finished piece. From a discarded, unloved statue to a Gothic vampire diorama. A perfect centerpiece for a spooky dinner party or a dramatic shelf display. You could even tuck a few tea lights or coloured LEDs around it for some eerie, atmospheric glow. I hope you enjoyed this build. Make sure to check out the other videos on my channel. There's something spooky for everyone. Now thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.